Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding. My man.
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. Are you aware of how popular fanny packs are right now, or waist belts, as Google would have you type in? Because apparently if you type in fanny pack, you get different things. Are you aware of this?
I had no idea.
Man, fanny packs are massively huge this summer. I think this is going to be the craze. I'm glad that we bought in on this stock for our ball tournament this weekend. Wearing fanny packs. I think this
fanny
is
among other things.
Yeah, among some other things. It's pretty neat. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. This is a hockey show about Canucks mostly, but we'll talk about other things because it's our show and we can do it.
Yeah, we sprinkle a little football, a little baseball from time to time. Yeah,
maybe we'll talk about golf.
Maybe golf.
Maybe we'll talk about water polo. I don't know anything about it aside from watching it in the Olympics.
Except that it would be incredibly hard.
It's just treading water for an hour.
Yeah, that would be so hard.
I can barely sit on a couch for an hour.
I mean, as it stands now, I can only take like a 40-second shift in hockey. So
yeah. So I mean, they're treading water, and they make
to me that's an issue. Yeah.
Power to them. Maybe that should have been something that they should have championed as like a bigger sport. Could you imagine like Michael Phelps on like a water polo team?
You know, and like obviously
Gretzky of it.
Yeah, we'll get to the Canucks stuff obviously, but Michael Phelps is like he's a strange one, right? Like he was on like I think it was like Letterman or something like that one year when he was like at the height of his Michael Phelpness.
Oh wait, yeah.
And he was like he stood up and he was like explaining how like he stood next to Letterman or Leno or whoever it was, and his waist was like that much shorter than Letterman's, like where their belts sat, right? And how he was like, he's like, oh yeah, I have like a naturally long torso and shorter legs and wider feet and longer arms that all lend itself to swimming. So he was like physically built, genetically built to be the perfect specimen for swimming, and he just so happened to find his calling, which is pretty hilarious.
He's an absolute specimen. I loved watching him. I know he's
as a unit.
Just
I was more of a Tewksbury guy.
Yeah. I mean, Phelps he was so dominant that like you couldn't not watch.
Yeah,
you keep watching the green line, and he's always passing the green line, and the green line was his last green line.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was his record he was beating.
Who was the other guy that was like, Lochte? He was
Ryan Lochte.
That guy's a character too.
Yeah, and remember in the Sydney Olympics, Torpedo, Ian Thorpe.
Oh right,
Thorpe,
yeah.
It was good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, the PP1 Podcast, we're a part of the Dean Blundell Network. You can find us on Apple, on Spotify, and Google, and everywhere else. If you can download a podcast, you can listen to us. You can also check us out on Facebook Live. We're Twitter, where you can like watch, but you can't really comment on us seeing it. YouTube as well. You can check out our YouTube page. Feel free to comment along because
comment your comments in the comments below.
Yeah, and if it's a good enough comment, we'll put it on the screen because we're nice like that.
Even if it's a shitty one, we'll probably put it up there.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes we're looking for love. And we're also in concert with our good friends at Move Health and Wellness. They were closed today when I was in the Walmart, and I was thinking about me needing some stuff done. But I mean, when it's at like 7:00, you can't expect them to be open that late. So we got some hockey to talk about. We've got our baseball. So we're going to be in the home base charity tournament this weekend, potentially playing maybe against Blake Como in our grouping. So we'll probably do some live thingies, show off a little bit, have some fun. We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup. We're going to talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame. We're going to be talking about, was it a too many men call last night with Colorado? I think so. And the Norris ballot that apparently is super popular for everybody to be talking about. Everyone's Norris ballot, like it even matters. Cale Makar won. Let's move on. And yeah, maybe we'll talk about PGA Tour versus the Live Tour and how that maybe translates if there is ever a hockey version, but there kind of was, and we'll get into that. So you were going to say something. You're like, I caught you off guard.
The Makar thing. I just as good as McDavid is.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah, Makar.
Like
No, he might be the most like electrifying player in the NHL right now.
Cale Makar.
Yeah. He's that good.
I could entertain it. I don't think he's the most electrifying. I think he's probably
important.
He's probably the most important player in the league.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's a guy named Connor McDavid in the league and we can have and entertain a conversation about it.
I think that's pretty impressive.
Makar is pretty impressive. Yeah.
I think the fun thing about Cale Makar is like he came in before he was a rookie, right? And he absolutely dazzled.
What do you mean?
Right. Like he came in, remember, because before he was an actual rookie, he came into the playoffs. That was like his first NHL
okay. Yeah, I got you.
And he absolutely dazzled. And we're all thinking, oh, geez, so what is Quinn Hughes? Because, I mean, the bar was already so high.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we've got the Matthews and McDavid. And, there's an amazing crop of players, a handful of guys that are generational. I think there's a few generational players, and Cale Makar just happens to be the defenseman version of that. It would be awesome if Quinn Hughes even measured to half of that. I think would be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty insane when you think about him and Pettersson going back to back, and how it was Nico Hischier that went number one. He wasn't even supposed to be the consensus number one. It was Patrick.
Nolan Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, Nolan Patrick, and then Miro Heiskanen goes 3.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So, I mean, all these guys have played a ton of games already, except for, even Patrick's played 200 not 200 and some odd games. He's been hurt. But
he was so dominant when he was out in Brandon, right? And I mean, again, the Kelowna Rockets were facing them in what was it, the WHL final, and absolutely dummied them in that. I think they swept them, did they not, to go to the Mem Cup?
I think.
And so. it was a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal for Kelowna fans, but to see a guy like that, and then he's been a good NHL player, but I guess that first overall pick is just so heavy, like heavy's the crown kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And like a guy like Cale Makar, when they're already comparing him to like the modern day Bobby Orr, you don't just throw, and not just anybody saying that, like you don't just throw that around. Like Cale Makar is a special player.
So yeah, Makar has 180 points in 178 games, which is ridiculous for a defenseman.
And he's a game away maybe from a Stanley Cup.
Do you know who the all-time points leader is for the 2017 draft?
So that was the Pettersson year, right? Was it Pasternak? No, was Pasternak in that year?
Pasternak was not in that year, no. Pasternak was, I believe, the Besser year.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's actually Elias Pettersson.
No kidding.
Yeah, 221 and 245. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's a Canuck, actually. Fun fact.
Yeah, and then you got Nico Hischier, Cale Makar, Robert Thomas. If they redo that draft, Nick Suzuki's in there too, and same with Heiskanen.
Nick Suzuki's still pretty special too.
Yeah, you got Jason Robertson, maybe the steal of the draft, drafted 39th overall.
Jeez.
125 points in 128 games. This is a pretty sneaky.
Wait, they had Heiskanen in that draft too? They got Robertson and Heiskanen in
they
that
They got Robertson and Heiskanen. So they're looking at...
Oh, come on.
Yeah, 255, 56 points between two players in one draft. That's a lot of production. So to hit on your number one and your number two, your first and second round draft picks like that.
Wow.
That's what good teams dream about doing.
Holy smokes. And I mean, you're not even like, you fall into the third pick.
Yeah.
But to still hit on your second, which maybe not quite the same, but pretty darn close.
Mm-hmm. So
like, you're not getting rid of either of those guys.
So I think you redo this draft. So you had Hischier going 1. You had Patrick going 2.
Mm-hmm.
Heiskanen going 3. Pettersson going 4. Or no, sorry. Makar going 4. Pettersson going 5. Had you had the chance to redo this draft, what do you
Yeah.
think the draft order goes?
Oh, baby. Whew. I mean, you're probably Makar, Pedersen, maybe Heiskanen is still there.
Yeah, probably. I think
Maybe
I think I take Pedersen over Heischer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Heischer's very good. I mean, he's been.
I mean, Heischer's then maybe
very.
the fifth. Maybe he's your fifth pick.
Yeah, he's played 300 games. He had that whole season ahead of Pedersen. So
or Pedersen, sorry. Yeah,
but even Patrick's played 220 some odd games. Like that's pretty.
Yeah, but if you're redrafting though, if you're talking about a straight on redraft,
yeah, in the redraft for sure. I mean, you still have Josh Norris, who's only played 125 games, and he's outscoring Patrick. So a lot of injury troubles there. The guy's obviously a specimen, so I don't know. Hopefully he turns it around. But yeah,
that's wild.
That's definitely one that I think guys would redo. Yeah,
it's crazy to look at some of these draft years and think of that. Like I'm still thinking about Dallas. They got Heiskanen and Robertson. Imagine like walking away from the weekend like I don't even care about the rest. Look what we got. Yeah,
they also got Gustav Lindstrom too, who's already played 90 games for the organization. So they did. Yeah, Dallas did a thing in that draft.
Or you're saying draft picks matter is what you're trying to say.
They matter.
Good.
You need as many lottery tickets as you can possibly get your hands on, right? Yeah.
So
this isn't Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It's not you go get one chocolate bar and get a golden ticket.
Were you watching that on TV tonight?
I wasn't. Was it on?
It was on. The old one. I was actually just at my folks' place before I popped in here. And my dad was, I don't even know what he's watching, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory ended up making it. And it was just the scene when they opened up the chocolate bar and he goes, I bet the gold makes chocolate taste bad. Now, you're about to have the time of your life, Charlie. Didn't even know.
What a wild movie.
Yeah, it's something all right. The Johnny Depp one was pretty crazy too.
Yeah.
A little bit spookier, that's for sure. So yeah, that's funny. But speaking of lottery tickets, we did talk about this last week, and the Canucks had all 6 numbers called, and they were the sweepstakes winner of Andrei Kuzmenko. So now that he is property of the Vancouver Canucks, first of all, I think hopefully it does pan out and there is enough to talk about after the season. But the fact that they did win this and it wasn't an opportunity in Edmonton, I mean, Joey's is pretty enticing when you're trying to sign.
The Joey's thing just kills me.
It's huge, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Joey's, but I mean, hey, if you're about to sign a guy for $1 million, I'm sure you can think of a better restaurant to entertain a guy. Like, geez, they could have gone to Forte's in Vancouver and that would have been a nice sell.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I would go
Forte's
to Forte's,
is pretty nice. You know, it's no slouch. I've been there one time. I was there after a Leafs Canucks game wearing a long sleeve and a Leafs suck button. I thought we were going to get called out of the building, and the guy stops and one of the waiters says, he's like, "Oh, you were at the game?" I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Man, how was it?" Canucks won. He's like, "Oh, that's awesome. I love your shirt, love your button." I'm like, "Okay, we'll be fine." But they did get Kuzmenko, so he seems to be happy. I think he was like wakeboarding or something in like a celebration video. I don't know. Kids,
Russians, man.
Yeah, wakeboarding.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not good at wakeboarding, so good for him.
Oh man, I don't know where to start. I'm actually just so excited that happened. I just
it's cool.
I think we've been the bridesmaid on so many different occasions with stuff like this, and I remember it was kind of comparable to us getting our hands on Dan Hamhuis in free agency, right? All along knowing that Hamhuis was going to come to Vancouver, other teams trading for his rights to try to negotiate early, like getting rid of 4th round draft picks to do that. Like,
and he still came here.
Yeah, I think it was Philly, maybe.
Yeah.
Super cool. Obviously, it's not quite the same in terms of organizational impact, or at least we won't know. But the Sedin thing, or Sundin thing, sorry, right? I mean, that was the big piece, and he was, I feel like, the first guy to come to Vancouver to give it like the credibility to kick the thing down the road. And so all this time passes.
There was a lot of money that was enticing.
It was, but still, I mean, it could have went anywhere, right?
Yeah, it happened.
And then all this time passes, and it's been winter is coming for a while. So to step out, this new management group, everybody can offer the same thing, right? The same amount of money. So it's like, what can you do, that's different than everybody else? And that was, Patrick Alvin having contact with Milstein long before this was a thing, long before he was available. One of the first things he does, the story is that he was one of the first calls that he made when he got to Vancouver and got the job. Like, we're serious about this. There's reports obviously of the Boudreaux drive down and the 4 hour or more all drive down to get to Michigan, and Alvin, the same thing, like meet in person, make an impression, get yourself out to Vancouver. You don't take them to Joey's. That's a good start. Man, you get them out for nice dinners. And then we get to see, that it's us that get picked. And from what we understand, it's like almost every team in the league was inquiring about him. And if not, it was a solid 20 that were serious about it. This is a big deal. Like, so it's fun and it's free.
Exactly.
It doesn't require any assets. Yeah.
No.
And if it does work, all we're due is netting plus in the positive. If it doesn't work, it's a net zero. It doesn't matter.
But I think here's the thing. It's not even that it's a net zero. The fact that they did land him, and the fact that that's, again, I don't know. We don't really know what the ultimate decision or what he was leaning towards even before he was getting wooed by multiple teams at the end. Maybe the Alvin thing down the, way before played a really major role in everything. And, maybe it's just some finalization of things, and he's going to get a few free trips and a few free dinners and get to see some cool cities before things get going. Who knows? I mean, we don't know. But I think even if it didn't work out, and I think there's two things. Obviously, if he doesn't have a great season, you can get him on the cheap and knowing that he's probably still going to pan out to something. If not, the rest of the free agent market, whether it's the pro market or the European or Russian market, you start looking at it and think, okay, well, what did they do to land him? Mm-hmm. Maybe I should really start rethinking Vancouver as a destination again, because they used to be. Maybe things have changed back to what they used to be or close in a different version of it. And now you're starting to think, okay, well, maybe we do start thinking about Vancouver as a destination for a guy out of college, guy out of the undrafted.
Which they got really nicked in on the college free agency portion of things this year, which has traditionally been pretty strong on the college free agents end of things, right? So,
but like I said, even if it doesn't work out for him specifically, I think that is a nice tipping point that they can start leaning in. So
this whole thing is win. Like there's just no, not a single negative outlook on this whole thing, right? Like, even if the guy plays like absolute trash, say he's Fabian Brunstrom, we get a good 4-goal game out of him to start his career. It's nothing. We're right back to where we started.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, if it means that whether it's Miller or Besser or whoever, and I really don't want to jump to that, but just as a quick note, if that means that they're able to move something else, maybe there's that trickle effect as well, where they're starting to get some cap savings and maybe bring in futures or what have you. So there's a few different avenues that this specific thing, and this is not like the golden goose deal.
It's the golden goose of this period of free agency signing, I think, out of a European side of things anyways.
Yeah, but I'm not saying like this is the be all end all. Like, there are other things that are going to happen with this team, but it definitely helps out the immediate future anyway. Like, it helps out the draft, it helps out free agency.
Yeah, I think it just really cues things up for the potential for a lot of wild things to happen to this organization, right? I mean, Kuzmenko offers you a level of flexibility that you didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's a possible power play specialist. We can talk about his expectations and whatever after, but like, I mean, I think at worst they're thinking he's going to be like a fringe top 6 forward. Maybe like a high end top 3 forward, right? Like, he's probably there's a good chance that he's gonna. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? If you're gonna be that fringe guy, like, you also need to be a high end special teams player, right? Like, you're not. I mean, we all had all this idea of like having guys on your roster that can play roles, and you can't have a fringe guy
Yeah.
not excel and at least help out on your power play, or at least help out on your penalty kill. And Kuzmenko can do that, right? I mean, there's obviously, we don't know what he's going to be, but I mean, he pencils into those spots, right? That takes extra pressure off guys like Höglander. That takes extra pressure off guys like Puck Colson. It puts pressure on guys like Tanner Pearson, who himself, I think, is a fringe top six forward, high end bottom six forward, but he makes a lot of money, right? So, the best case scenario here would be that he just forces his way into the top six, never looks back. It's very unlikely that we're looking at, it's unlikely that we're looking at like a Panarin scenario, obviously. But I think there's a very good chance that we have a good looking forward here, which is kind of all you can ask for, right? I mean, it's just going to open up so many possibilities if they do feel like they need to start moving.
It's a good start point.
Yeah, they can feel better about moving a Besser and obviously bringing in help in the form of like young bodies and draft picks, or they can feel better about moving a Miller. Right. You're never going to replace that. You can't. You just straight up can't replace it. But you can sure set yourself up with Qs and lottery tickets for the future, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, not yet. Anyway, there's plenty of guys that will amount to as much as Miller's. Like, as he's our big ticket right now. But there have been plenty of very good all around players that score lots of points and get 100 points and score goals, and those people exist.
You can't get yourself. I mean, we're just looking at it here, right? You can't get yourself a Jason Robertson if you don't have extra picks, right? Like you can't find yourself a Drake Batherson.
No.
In the fourth round, if you don't have all these extra picks, and maybe you have a single fourth round pick, but wouldn't it be great to have 2 or 3 fourth round picks, right? Like you can't start stockpiling your cupboard unless you have the picks to do so. And this so many of them been squandered over the years. So it'll be good to start getting your hands on more.
You know what I just about squandered?
What's that?
You should say that. So you mentioned about that we'd have an opportunity to play in this tournament this weekend. Very exciting.
Yeah, have we talked about the tournament? Did we?
No, but we're going to get into that in 2 seconds, but I'm leading up to it. So as I said, we are going to be playing in the home base charity tournament. We'll put some links up. Ted, if you even have a link to post as I'm talking, I'm not sure if you got the 50-50 raffle one. Great cause. Joanna's House has been one of the target charities. I can't remember. There's a few other ones that are also involved in it this time. You had told me kind of after the show last week that there is a chance that we'd get to play in this tournament this weekend. Super excited. I've wanted to play in this tournament since the first year it came out. COVID canceled it for a few years, and now it's back, and it's going to be phenomenal. There's the charity game on Friday night, which will be a bunch of current and former NHLers. Anybody that knows anything about Kelowna, there is pretty much a handful of Hall of Famers. There is definitely an insane all-star team that is available to watch. There's an autograph signing as well tomorrow night. So super, super cool. So you told me that on Thursday night. Very, very cool. I was super excited about that. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you guys can click on that. Feel free to click on it and donate. That would be super awesome. So anyway, super excited. Monday, we have game 1 of summer ball for your work team, and I'm pitching. It was fine. We had just enough people to play. I am the pitcher on this team, and when you're playing against the odd team, there's a few people that can hit a pretty decent ball. This was the first time I've been hit solid with a baseball in slow pitch. I got absolutely drilled on a line drive.
It was not good.
I matrixed out line drive off my pinky finger. I don't know if I'm going to get it good. It's pretty gross. It's super swollen. Anyway, line drive off my pinky. It ripped off like 2 pieces of skin. So there's blood instantly. I might end up losing my nail at some point. Put some ice on it. It was good to go. Anyway, I'm just getting, as of like today, pretty decent motion on it. But I was freaking out because this was on Monday. We play on Saturday. I did not want to miss this because of the first baseball injury I've had in like 3 years. And it was a stupid thing too. A pinky. Imagine a pinky keeping you out of a ball tournament. Devastating stuff. So I've been rehabbing hard this week. I've been a lot of hand stuff. So I'll be ready. But I was super worried, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was freaking out. There's no way I was gonna miss it. I'd be there cheerleading if I had to. So you taunted me after the game saying, "Hey, if Ryan doesn't make it, can you?" Asking a few guys on our team, yeah, could you spare? No,
That wasn't really taunting. Like if we don't have you, we don't get to play. I was like literally trying to cover my bases.
It hurt a bit. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, if you guys want to click on that link there is an opportunity to buy 50/50 tickets. It definitely goes towards a great cause. It'd be cool if they live streamed it. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's going to
You know
be
anything about that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be live stream, but there's going to be some peeps there. Obviously, you mentioned, Como and Georges are going to be the two sort of main ambassadors for the tournament.
Shea Weber will be there.
But yeah, Weber will be there. There's a good chance
Tyler
we'll get to play against there's a good chance we'll get to play against Como's team on the first day, which is pretty cool, or the early part of the day, which is cool.
Yeah.
Myers, Shen,
Luke Shen.
Yeah, there's I think Dixon Ward's going to be there with his team. Our good friend Aaron Pritchett's, there's a good chance he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Friend of the show. So we're going to have an opportunity to just get out there and obviously raise some money, which is what it's all about. It's a mainly mental health charity this time around, which is pretty cool. Especially over the last 2 years for what, what kind of shape everybody's been in. So it'll be fun to just get out there and play in a tournament style thing again, a big event, go have some fun, meet some people, and we're gonna have a really fun group of teams. So the only way we got in there was Okanagan Lifestyle, which is a local company here, put in a spot for a second team. They didn't have it. Normally it's $2,000 to enter. They said, "Hey, we just need a couple of fun people. Can you put a team together?" And before we know it, we had a roster of 12 good time peeps to get the game in. It should be a good super good time.
Now, I think what we should probably do, because aside from promoting this, like we don't have too much skin in the game yet. I think we should probably put a few bucks towards it. I wonder if anybody would like match. What do you think? Like we could start. Yeah. I mean, we're small potatoes, but I mean, even like $50.
Yeah,
we could put like $50 with it. If anybody would want to match that, we'll put up. I will put $50 of our money towards.
$50. Yeah, we'll put $50 worth of podcast money up in there, and then if you decide you're going to do it, hit us up, PM us or DM us in the link or whatever. Maybe just send us a little screenshot of your promotion, and we'll make sure to get a shout out and a mention for you on Twitter, and then we'll hit you on the podcast as well.
You know what? If we get 3 people, because I've got a few pairs, if the first 3 people, if you guys donate $50, and it's a lot easier if you're in Kelowna. I've got summer skates. We'll get you a pair. Oh, I actually have these. The black ones. I'll get you a pair of summer skates. First 3 people, if you can DM us, either myself or Ted, I'll get you a pair. I think of every size. If not, we'll make sure that we reimburse you just a cool way. But I'm pretty sure I've got every size. We'll get you a pair of summer skates. First 3 people, $50. Make it happen. So anyway, that's going to be a lot of fun. Very, very exciting stuff. Should we do a quick ad read for our good friends at Move Health?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had like a White Claw burp there. I apologize. Iced tea raspberry. It's pretty good. So Ted, you were talking about the ball tournament and how mental health is kind of one of the big focuses this time around for donating. And we talk about, we've talked about mental health a lot.
Yeah.
I think we've all gone through, we all go through different things, and some of us maybe will show it outwardly more, and some of us are dealing with it in a different way. But at Move Health, they do have counselors available in all locations, in the 2 in Surrey and South Surrey, as well as the Kelowna location inside the Jack Nathan Medical Center inside Walmart, Central City in Kelowna. Book an appointment. It's something that I think we put too much focus on our physical health sometimes, which is equally important, obviously, but we do forget about the mental health side of things. And if we don't take a little bit of time to ourselves, be a little bit selfish and make sure that we're in a good spot, that again, we can help others in this case. I mean, we get to do something fun this weekend, but it does go towards a good thing as well. Book yourself an appointment with one of the counselors there, and maybe that's something that you can help yourself with as well. They do have in our local location anyway, registered massage therapy. They also have chiropractor. If you're going to the Lower Mainland locations, you can also get acupuncture. You can get some kinesiology. There's a lot of options, physiotherapy amongst other things, as well as what I've mentioned, massage therapy and chiropractors. You've got help to get you in a better spot, whether it is mental or physical. And again, they're professionals. We've had Dr. John on the show a number of times. We would love to have Kaylee on, but that may not happen. That's okay. We love Kaylee still. It'd be cool to get Dr. John again, and we'll make sure that we have him on. You're going to learn something. I know I did when I went in for my first kind of meeting with John, and it was cool to learn just how your range of motion and everything kind of fits together. You can learn about yourself. You can learn to keep yourself in a good spot physically, and learn what not to do or what to stay away from, especially if you're an active athlete, or you are active, whether you're hiking or what have you. You can learn to make sure that you can try to keep yourself in as good a shape as possible as far as your muscles and your motion goes. So Move Health and Wellness, as I said, if you're in Kelowna, tons of parking at the Walmart. Gotta love that. You gotta flex on that parking. And they're good
Go
people.
see Dr. John. Yeah, book him
Go
up.
see Dr. John. He's an awesome ball player. I know we bust his balls a little bit, but he's a good guy. he's a good guy. We like Dr.
He's
John.
a great guy, yeah.
And his hockey team may be winning Stanley Cup in the next 24 hours. So Move Health and Wellness, 3 locations in British Columbia. I'm sure there'll be more. It seems like they're blown up, so I wouldn't be surprised to hear about a new location soon enough. Ted, there's a few things going on. We talked about the Norris ballot. I'm sure you saw over Twitter, everyone's posting their Norris ballot, as I said. And we kind of got into it with Cale Makar. Like, who really cares about what everyone posted on their ballot? We know who won. We know who the top 3 were. Why is it such a big deal that everybody's having to post their Norris ballot? Do you want to know what mine was? I actually did get votes this time. I'm not a registered member of the Hockey Writers Association, but would you like to hear my Norris ballot?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, so Chuck Norris went 1, so I didn't have Cale Makar at all actually on mine. Lando Norris,
yeah.
Season 6 of Seinfeld, I had as the third. The lost sock in my parents' dryer from when I was 12. That one I'm actually surprised that I even made it. And then finally, Eli Manning, I had as 6th. People didn't see that.
Speaking of Eli Manning, did you see that?
This is the weirdest transition somehow, and yet you like.
I'm gonna do it. It's relevant. So Arch Manning just got. He committed to Texas.
That's something.
The number 1 recruit, 5-star recruit, basically looked at as the perfect quarterback, and he's a Manning. He's Eli and Peyton's nephew, so the older brother who never played. It's his son. So Archie's kid. He's named after Archie Manning, I believe.
You know what's wild?
So Arch Manning, yeah. The kid's already like 6'4", 212 or some shit like that.
That he wasn't in Ole Miss.
Probably got a huge forehead too.
And he wasn't in Tennessee is where Peyton played, right? It's amazing that he didn't go to either of those schools.
Yeah, was
just
Tennessee?
Interesting. Just knowing who your uncles are.
Was he a Vol? Was that? Yeah, it was Tennessee.
Yeah, Volunteers.
Yeah, Volunteers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean that's surprising. He went to Texas.
Crazy.
We were talking about it with some of the Ballhawks guys today, actually. So Texas hasn't been relevant since Colt McCoy, and prior to that, Vince Young. Yeah, so I'm Colt McCoy.
Vince Young was sick.
Come grow up with me.
Yeah. It's like I'm reliving that chat all day today. Yeah. That's hilarious. I'm Vince Young. That guy was a monster.
He was fun, man. He was fun for like a minute.
Hey man, I got to see him play for the Titans against Seattle. That was a lot of fun. I got to watch Chris Johnson rush for 2,000 yards that day.
Yeah, like he only knew like 7 plays, but they were fun plays.
Those were good 7 plays. Kind of like me. I know 2 pitches, but I'm pretty good at both of them.
I didn't even know you had a second pitch, honestly.
Ouch, that hurts. Thank you.
Like balls and strikes.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the 2. I know one. I tend to show one more than the other. Did you see the game, the game 4 against Colorado and Tampa?
I didn't see the whole game. No.
Okay. Did you see the highlight, or at least the controversy? What was being called in overtime? The too many men call or non-call?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now.
So Kadri scores. Great. I mean, this is great for Colorado. I still can't believe that the series has gone this way, but it's not over. But there was too many men on the ice when it happened, and yet it was still a non-call, and it wasn't even something that was challenged. Imagine you're a win away now from the Stanley Cup, and everybody knows what happened. Like, John Cooper was not happy in the post presser there.
Yeah, like,
it's a tough one because I know you can call something like that, but this would be the moment that you would want to call it. No?
So I really feel this is like, I can relate to John Cooper. So today he comes out and makes the apology.
He did?
Like, sorry for being rude. Sorry for the way I reacted. But we just lost a game on what feels like could have been a questionable call. I was really beat up about it. And then I have to face you guys 5 minutes later. Super candid. I can relate to that. I get it. I understand. I know what it's like to be frustrated and then have to go into and go be cool, calm, collected while you're about to hit the vultures. Like, it's tough. I feel bad for him.
How have you ever been in a situation like that?
Any situation. How can you not have been in a situation where you're fired up and you feel like something's just been taken to you, and then you have to then go be in a situation where you need to be just like, You've never been in a situation like that?
I'm sure, but you said you could relate.
How can you not relate to a human like that?
I can relate to him. I just can't relate specifically to that situation.
Oh yeah, I guess maybe I should have said that I don't relate.
Not the Stanley Cup. Don't be an idiot. Obviously. No, thanks, Ryan. Obviously, I've never.
Well, you're coming at me with the specifically thing. I don't know.
All right, whatever. So anyway, I don't know. I think as a Canucks fan, we've been jobbed on a few calls. We can all remember them, but at the same time, yeah, it does suck. It's for the Stanley Cup, and now it means a lot more. Every game means so much. If it was game 1 or game 2, I think it would be easier to take. But the fact that that puts them up 3-1, that's a pretty tall hill to climb at this point. And it is Tampa, and I still believe that it could go 7 games, but they're going to be an exciting couple games if it's going to get that far. It's going to be tough, but I think Tampa's got the horses to still do it. At the same time, I think Colorado found the jugular, and hopefully they can go for it. So we'll see. It could be a fun end to the week.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa's proven this all along that as the series goes, they get better. It's going to be tough, though.
Oh yeah, it's 3-1, man.
This isn't some run-of-the-mill teams. I don't know what the statistics are, but I gotta think that it's something like 80+%.
Yeah,
the 3-win team gets there
for sure.
Maybe they get in there, steal one more. I mean, that would be great. That'd be a lot of fun. But I just don't see it happen. And yeah, there was too many men. I think it was somewhat inconsequential. It's almost like I sort of liken it back to the foot in the crease goal. Brett Hall, foot in the crease.
And was it yesterday or today or yesterday was the anniversary of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, was this foot in the crease? Yeah. Was it completely inconsequential? Yeah. But were they calling it all year? Yes, they were. Like, okay, it didn't happen in that moment at that time.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's a new rule, too many men, and it should have been caught, but they are human. And I can say this because it didn't happen to my team.
Yeah,
and maybe
it's not a strike zone like the Blue Jays have been getting.
Oh man, that was brutal too. I'd be way more pissy though, for sure.
I mean, when you're pissed for both teams, that's a bad umpire.
Yeah, I think I posted that. Was it 33 pitches that the pitch box counted as balls that were called strikes?
Yeah, he was out 6 inches. Sorry, folks, we're talking about Blue Jays for a second. That umpire, I can't remember his name, and I think he umped. Did he ump the next day too? And then the Jays hitting coach got ejected when they were handing in lineup cards at the beginning of the game. He must have said, yeah, it was absolute garbage yesterday. See ya.
Your umping is trash.
Yeah. 6 inches is a lot in baseball. When you can command a 90+ mile an hour ball to go inside of a square the size of your computer screen, yeah, 6 inches is a lot.
I know we're all over the place here, but I was just watching this thing on Lenny Dykstra.
Oh man, he was a piece of work.
He was a bad guy.
He was a bad
So
dude.
so he was a small guy, had a good couple of seasons, got the big contract, did the steroids before steroids were even a thing. Like, he didn't have to cover up doing steroids because he was taking steroids before they were legal. Taking steroids.
You just
It's
assumed
like,
he was doing steroids.
I get like the special vitamins. Oh, there goes the little one. She's by.
That's all right. It's okay.
So he gets a little nicked up after he signs his contract, and he's like, okay, I got one more year left before I need to re-up for my big one. Can't take steroids anymore. So I just found this out. I did not know this. I was yesterday years old when I found this out. He paid like absorbent amounts of money to private investigators.
What?
To go and look into every single ump in baseball. So that he had dirt on every single ump in baseball. And then what he would do is that he was struggling in an at-bat, he would lean back and tell the guy some dirt on the guy. And then it was ball. And that year he led the league in walks.
No way.
Yeah. True story, man. Crazy. Yeah, I had no idea.
Is this on like Netflix or something?
No, it's on a YouTube doc. I'll send it to you.
Oh, man.
Baseball is nothing actually on YouTube. It's pretty hilarious stuff.
I mean, I saw Screwball. That was a good documentary on steroid, on the whole Balco and all that. If you haven't seen that, folks, that is worth a watch. It's one of those, the fact that it's a true story because they're interviewing all the people in it, how that thing ends and how it could have still been covered up will blow your mind. The fact that they actually could have gotten away with a lot of the steroid era is mind-blowing. And that's crazy to say. The fact that they could have gotten away with steroids and everyone would have known, and they still could have gotten away with it, and baseball would have been they were the wiser, but just I'll check that out when we're done. But yeah, Ted, if you haven't seen it, and I know I've probably asked you to watch it before, Screwball documentary on Netflix is a must watch. You will laugh so hard as this starts to progress, because by the end, there's no, like, you just won't believe that it actually went down the way it did. Like, just unbelievable. I got my dad to watch it and he just laughed. He goes, there's no way. I said, it's wild. Absolute shenanigans. What was that place called, Farva? Oh yeah, Shenanigans. We got a couple things we could talk about, and I figure this may be a lengthy conversation, so I'm gonna bring it up. Your microphone's gone.
We're all over the place. I'm just going to
I
want to go back to Kuzmenko for one quick second.
You know what? We started off, so let's just bring it back in. Andre, what's up?
So there's all these player comparisons, right? Because there's like, he's a shorter guy. He's 5'11", but he's a thicker guy because he's like 205. There's all these people, he's a bigger, small guy than you would think because, Connor Garland's a small guy, but looks like a small guy.
Oh, yeah.
And, they're talking about player comparisons, and it's like, the ones that are out there that are favorable are not favorable. There's not a lot of good comparisons for him.
No.
But he is a thicker guy who has some skill, and he's probably more of a playmaker than a shooter. He's not real fast, but he's a good skater, like almost Brock-esque, right? Like Brock's not going to beat anybody wise. Smart though.
No, but a smooth skater anyway.
So I think if I was going to make a player comparison, maybe we're going back a little bit, but Andrei Kovalenko might be a decent player comparison. I'm really pulling this one out of the woodworks.
Now, is this just because there's a lot of the same letters involved here?
I mean, it could be. Maybe that's how it happened. Maybe that's how I got there. But nonetheless, I'm there now.
Colorado Avalanche, yep.
Yeah, old school. Well, for one season or something like that. Yeah, mostly a Nordique.
Yeah.
But Kovalenko was 5'11", like 225. So, and that's 20 pounds bigger, but he was, the Russian tank, right? But the guy had playmaking skills. He could make these plays. He could score some goals. He was tough on the puck. Maybe that might be a decent player comparison for Kuzmenko. Who knows? I could be way off here, but that's just something that I thought of after watching him play for like a little bit.
Can I have one more way off base?
Yeah. Let's do it. This is the way off base.
That might be the name of the show today.
Way off base AP.
So speaking of home base, because there's the charity game with all the hockey players, Friday night FAQs. Quick question: can I bring my cat? dog or rooster? The answer is, unfortunately, no pets are allowed at the field other than service animals. I just thought that was a funny question. No one's asking it, but clearly someone asked it that they put it on their FAQ for Friday.
Can I bring my chinchilla, platypus, or
Service
orangutan?
camel. I have a service camel. You can bring the service camel.
Yeah, it's an emotional support camel.
Yeah, if you don't have one of those, this is Sally the camel. She's my emotional support camel. The Hall of Fame announcement comes out next week on the 27th, which is 4 days from now. It is the first year eligibility for these players. Jason Chimera.
I mean, he played forever. Probably still a burner. Probably still a great skater.
Be. Matt Cullen. It gets better, folks.
Also played forever.
Hartnell down. Scott Hartnell. Mike
Dog.
Fisher. Carrie Underwood's.
Mike Underwood.
Mike Underwood. Brian Giunta. He was okay.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Kunitz.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Nash.
Oh, wow.
Brooks Orpik. Dion Phaneuf. The population of Pominville. Denrick and Heniel, as Kinsey says. Daniel and Henrik Sedin. Matt Stajan. Thomas Vanek. As Matt Sekeres once said, Thomas Vanek can't back check for shit. That was funny. Antoine Vermette. Redeem Verbata. Wow, a lot of former Canucks here. Henrik Zetterberg. Yikers. Our good friend of the show, who's never been on, but he's a good friend in my life, Roberto Luongo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for first year. Now, the guy that isn't a first year and somehow still is not in the Hall of Fame, Alexander McGillney. Dave Babbage is also eligible this year. I just saw that. Peter Bondra as well. I'm going to look and see if Kovalenko's on this list because that'd be funny. But you look at, there's a ton of guys on this list. Hakan Lube still hasn't made it in. That's a crying shame. Daniel and Henrik, first year, I think it's been said before, but like he makes it. He makes it as one, right? Does he make it as one or do they make it as two?
I don't really care how they do it.
But they make it first year, like hands down, right?
They have to. And I don't in typical Sedin fashion, I feel like they're gonna have to go through and earn it again.
You feel like it won't be a first year?
Like they deserve it to be first year. Bar none. Yeah. Like they should be first year, no question asked, Hall of Famers. And it's this thing with the Twins about this like appreciation where you don't know you had it until it's gone kind of thing. And it takes a while to grow on people.
That's my pinned tweet. I still think we took the Sedins.
Oh, you all took the Sedins for granted.
Yeah.
And you're right? I mean, like we all know that they're first ballot Hall of Famers, but the rest of the league, the rest of the fans around the league, the rest of the reporters around the league, the people who have votes, it wouldn't shock me at all if they didn't make it in. It wouldn't at all, because I feel like that's what they've done their whole careers, been slighted, only for people to realize that they're way better than you thought.
Now, if I'm going to debate you, I think that it kind of sucks, but it's almost like a recency bias thing. The way they finished their career, once they kind of had their little swan song there, the way everything just like serendipitously finished up for them, like what did they score, like 22, the 22nd minute or the 33rd minute or something like that. Just all those stupid little Sedin statistics that happened, and the fact that they really started to get that respect in the last couple of years of their career. Even though there is a Hart Trophy winner there is an Art Ross Trophy winner there is, I mean, on the world stage, there's no debate. I mean, they were sick on the world stage, but they went from just two players they went second and third overall, but so have a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
And they went from like these scrawny third line kind of guys that Linden and Trent Klatt were playing with, and they became probably two of the most fittest athletes you would ever meet.
I wouldn't say became.
Well, or sorry, They were.
Right from the jump, though, they were winning. They were finishing first in every fitness category.
But that they were still doing it in the last year of their career.
Yeah, that's
and they're going up against guys that, we would all consider physical specimens. And they were still getting it done. And now, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they probably are, maybe not a GM, but maybe something close to it. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. And maybe it's not even with the Canucks. Who knows?
Is there a rule of how many guys get in per year?
There probably is.
Because there's a big list of guys who aren't in. So you got some fringe guys, like, again, and that's why I put the Sedins on this list as fringe, right? Because
okay,
but Patrick Iliash is a pretty underrated player. He's not on that. He's not in the Hall. He's over 1,000 points. Sergei Gonchar.
Some guys have cups too, right? Like, you look at the guys that are not in there, and you can look at Stanley Cups that are won, and there's some guys that have 2 cups. There's like Tom Barrasso's in there. You've got, like, who's Lauren Shabbat? I don't know who that is.
Sergei Gonchar.
Andy Moog.
800 and some odd points. Him and Zubov were ridiculous over that period of time when they played. Daniel Alfredson has more points than both the Twins over 18 seasons. He's not in there. Rod Brindamore, not in there. Curtis Joseph, not in there. Turgeon, Mogilny, probably. I mean, there's a lot of guys who aren't in there that should be in there. And it's not like the baseball thing where, like, Dave Steeb's never going to get into the Hall of Fame, but he deserves to be there.
Alfredson was only pennies above.
And he's not there.
I know. I'm saying pennies above, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't get in, right? I mean, you have a guy like Zetterberg who has cups and has that cachet around the league too. And I think that the Twins were better players. I really do. Maybe Zetterberg was a better two-way player.
Cups,
he has the cups, obviously. Cups make a difference, right? So
yeah.
And and the last guy, and obviously this is going to sound like home bias, but Roberto Luongo also deserves.
That's an interesting one.
He's the number 4 winningest goaltender of all time. Number 4.
Shutouts are insane.
Yeah, shutouts are off the charts. Games played off the charts. Save percentage super high. Like, I mean, 77 shutouts, Ryan.
I know. We saw a lot of those. I mean, I was in the building for a ton of them.
We did. 77 shutouts. He played 1,044 games. The 2.55 goals against average, 919 save percentage.
And who was
the fourth winningest goaltender of all time? How do you not have the number 4 point getter in the NHL, let alone the number 4 game winner?
I think if the NHL was going to get it right, and I mean, I hate the Hockey Hall of Fame and how they come to the conclusion of who is a Hall of Famer, because there are guys in there. I mean, Pavel Bure, I'm a huge fan, no secret. As great as we think Pavel Bure is and was, I mean, there's a lot of players that are statistically, I mean, obviously longevity-wise, but statistically are not even on the same planet. Like, they are better than Pavel was. But he's a Hall of Famer.
But that's statistically, right? I mean,
I know.
At that point, he does have a huge body of work. Not the biggest, but a huge body of work.
He was impactful.
And then you can take what he did in the sample size and look at it and be like, and extrapolate a little bit, right?
So how is Alex McGillney not in the Hockey Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah.
His numbers he definitely had. There were a few absolutely phenomenal years, but I mean, the guy has a 76 goal season. He's got a 55 goal season, multiple 30 plus goal seasons. He was an absolute unit. He does have a Stanley Cup with New Jersey, and he's still not in. And yet a guy like Pavel is, again, and I would champion him till the day I die. But how is Alex McGillney still not in?
Especially with Paul Kariya in there, right? I mean, that's a similar player with a similar amount of success. I think I would mark them as comparables. Kariya's in there and deserves to be in there.
It's just crazy.
Elmo should be in there.
So I know what you're thinking and how you feel like, typical Canucks slate, typical Sedin slate. Which players do get in? If you were
I
going
don't
to
know.
pick 4 players, you have to pick 4 players. Because I don't know
Well,
what the builders and all that look like, but 4
the
players.
the 3 former Canucks get in.
So you think the Sedins and Luongo?
Yeah,
Is that the 3? I'm assuming. Yeah.
that's the 3.
Zetterberg.
And then I think Zetterberg. I don't know who else I would take.
He
It's gotta
only
be
had 1
Zetterberg.
cup, which is crazy to think. Hey, he was
One
there
cup,
a few
one
times.
cup, and a career,
Yeah.
set short.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's from this class, right? I mean,
Right.
if I can, this isn't a really strong class. It's littered with very good players.
I
but
mean, you're right.
the
It's
kind of
not
class.
you're not getting the heavy hitters for sure.
And
But I
that's
mean,
what-
at the same time, the Sedins were heavy hitters. I still think we don't give them enough credit where it's
I
due.
mean, the Zetterberg and the Twins were, the
were
bells
it.
of that ball for the draft, really.
They all have over 1,000 points. Actually, Zetterberg doesn't, but
Zetterberg's close.
2 guys at 1,000 points, and we're still debating if they'll make it or not. Like that,
960 points in 1,082 games.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're still debating this, even as knowing what we know,
I just think that the Twins and Luongo should be surefire bets, and I know that.
but that shouldn't even be biased, though.
It shouldn't be. But there's voters out there that are still singing that, like, oh, the Sedin sisters, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
you just know that, right? I mean,
Tony Amonte's American. Let's get him in there.
yeah, and Amonte's very good too.
Yeah, he was okay. He sure had a good run with Chicago too. Hey, Tony Amonte. That guy was a stud. I mean, he was a bit of a Canuck killer, if I do remember correctly.
He was just it wasn't that he was the fastest guy. It was just that he was constantly moving.
Yeah.
And just like a motor, right? Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Connor Garland, but like way light, obviously, right? But Connor Garland's the guy that sort of controls the puck on that line.
Sure.
Or whatever line he's on, for that matter.
Sure.
But I mean, he beat Pavel for Rookie of the Year that year, which is pretty funny. 900 points.
Wait. Dial it back for a second.
Oh no, sorry, he didn't beat Pavel. He was in the running with Pavel.
Let's be fair here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just making a little mix up there.
You're just a little drunk, probably.
But 900 points in 1,100 games, or just over, like, almost 1,200 games. Those aren't monster numbers, and you're making me pick 4 from this current draft, and I'm picking Zetterberg because I'm supposed to pick 4, but I think there's only really 3, and a bunch of other guys from previous drafts should be getting in there.
It would be cool to see. I mean, this would be cool, especially for Buffalo, but it would be cool to see Mogo get in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if it was those 4?
Or
sorry,
like
5. And
Alfredson, Elmo, Luongo, Sedin.
See, I don't think Alfredson gets in this year.
And I think
Next
he should.
year.
Like, if not this year, then when? You know what I mean?
Next year.
I mean, this is the Zetterberg Sedin is one of the shittiest drafts of all time. Drafts are only going to get better past that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's unequivocally the worst draft ever.
Yeah. And yet there was enough in those picks that salvaged that entire draft.
You can't keep going like, oh, if not this year.
Yeah. Well, but they have been. I mean, that's the McGilley knock, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of hate the Hockey Hall of Fame and how that is all figured out, because it's not truly the best of the best. It's a bunch of the best and a bunch of really good.
Yeah, like Rob Brindamore. Rob Brindamore had almost 1,200 points. Played almost 1,500 games, but almost 1,200 points.
And he's in though, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Wow. And he's got a cup. Like, that's, I don't know. Like, you look at sports, and I mean, baseball, look how stringy they are on getting guys in. You look at the NFL and like what it takes to make in the NFL. The heralded Canton, Ohio, or Cooperstown. And yet the Hockey Hall of Fame is like, well, I want my guy to make it this year.
Yeah, like And the one that like nobody talks about too is like, and this is why I worry about Alfredson and the Twins not getting in. It's Pierre Turgeon. Pierre Turgeon had 1,327 points.
He's not in.
He's not in the fucking Hall of Fame.
See, that's my point. That's my point. Like, how flawed is again, and it comes down. I think if it was truly like a Hall of Fame,
I mean, he played like 100 years, but
so
whatever.
But like, you know, I don't know,
12, 1,300 games, 1,300 points.
All right. So we had this little conversation before. We're talking about fanny packs. So this is going to be your bad boy this weekend. It's a pretty nice fanny pack that suits you. So we, I bought a few fanny packs tonight, folks. Not my proudest moment, but we have this ball tournament where we're all going to be like 90s, 80s kind of look, whatever. By the way, you might have to be in charge of buying Big League Chew and some bubble tape.
Okay, fine.
We're going to need those in our fanny packs, I feel. Maybe if I could find a glass Gatorade bottle or something too. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, buy these fanny packs. And I'm telling my wife, telling Christine, like, man, my dad used to have this sick body glove one, like back in the day. Like back in the day when I'm like a teenager. And he used it. I can't even remember why he had it, but he had this body glove, orange and black fanny pack. It was awesome. I always thought it was the coolest. So over time, as I was kind of growing up a little bit, we used to do like basement wrestling, like me and my buddies, me and my cousins, like we set up all the mattresses from like our tent trailer and like the hide-a-bed, and we set them up, stacked them high, and our basement was unfinished. So we had the ceiling joists. So I'd hang the fanny pack with the buckle, and we'd have a ladder match. So you'd have to like unbuckle it to get like, we were hardcore wrestling fans, right? And so what we did is we had to, I'll make that quick. We would take the hide-a-bed like cushions, which weighed like 1,000,000 pounds, like the old 70s hide-a-beds.
Yeah.
Weighed like a piano. So you'd have to, my parents' basement was really long. So we put one cushion on one end of the basement, one on the other, and you had to put both together to use the ladder, but you could also use them to hit the other guy with. I was almost knocked out a few times. It was great. So anyway, that was the ladder. So we go back to my folks. We're also wearing jean shorts this weekend. That's part of our outfit. And I'm known in our ball league for having probably the tightest ball pants in the league. They were my dad's ball pants when he played baseball 25 plus years ago. So they're still in pretty good shape. But he's a skinny mini. He is probably $180 soaking wet. He's 6'2". So tall dude, super skinny. And I've inherited these pants. So my dad says after work today, he goes, wow, you need jean shorts. So, yeah. Well, what's your waist? I'm like, I'm 32, maybe 33. Kind of, come by the house after. Okay. So we do get all of our fanny packs and we go in there. I'm like, Dad, need those shorts. So it comes in, shows me them. And my wife's like, no, my mom, no way. Those will not fit. So I put them on, pretty much painted on, folks. These things that I sold it well. They all thought I wouldn't be able to move in them. I did a quick squat like I was going to throw a baseball. I will be wearing them this weekend. I got a lot of laughs from the family. Dad, do you still have that fanny pack? Remember your body glove? Literally doesn't even flinch. The guy doesn't even flinch like, oh, I don't know where it is. Walks into the other room, goes in, grabs in the closet. You mean this one? Like it was just waiting to be taken out of a closet. Sure enough, I got the body glove fanny pack from like my child.
Probably get like the old school like lifeguard zinc.
The zinc.
Yeah,
we got to do that. Oh, I just laughed so hard. My Christine looks and she goes, "There's no way. How did he just have that readily available?"
Yeah,
so that's my dad.
What a beauty.
We go deep.
Your dad's so great. Yeah,
it's gonna be an absolute mess this weekend. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But yeah, those shorts are, ladies. I'm taken. I'm married and with 2 children. I am taken. So. Unfortunately, I'm not on the market, but I will probably be showing that I am because those jean shorts are pretty tight. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. This is pretty much the show. You got anything going on? How's the new house? Everything's happening.
New house is good. Happy to be in here.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah. In-laws are moved in. We look good. We're happy.
You look comfortable. So folks, this is our show. We're at the hour mark. Make sure you do tune in to us every week on the Dean Blendale Network, on our Facebook and our YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you're on Apple or Spotify. Check us out. 5 stars apparently is a big deal on the Spotify side of things. We just want to impact the world talking about hockey. We are working on getting some guests. I was hoping to have somebody from the home base tournament. It is a lot to ask, especially the week of. But we are working on getting some guys throughout the summer. So make sure you are listening and watching our show. Like I said, just give us a tune in. I'm finalizing our prize pack for the summer here. We got the golf balls, got the summer skates. I'm working on some hats as well. I want to get that going. We've got all summer to give them away. We'll try to do maybe 2 giveaways on that. And like I said, please check out the link, and we'll post it on our Twitters and Instagrams as well. Go check out the raffle link. Try to win some cash. Are they even doing prizes on that, Ted, or is it just like a raffle?
I think you just get half.
Okay. So go in there. It goes to a good cause, the KGH Foundation. They kind of divide that in a lot of ways. Again, mental health. And I know Joanna's House has been kind of part of that as well. I mean, it's a solid cause. We're going to have some fun. We're going to make sure we raise some money. First 3 people, if you show us your donation, I'll make sure you guys get some summer skates. We want you to walk in style this summer. Show us off a bit as well. Ted, this has been a little bit, all
over the place.
All over the place, off base kind of episode. It's been a lot of fun. I'm excited, man. Summer's finally here-ish. I feel like I say that every week.
Summer solstice day before yesterday.
Yeah, and it was raining. I'm pretty sure. Massive windstorm.
It's supposed to touch 30 this weekend, though.
We are gonna be suns out, guns out. We got Baltimore as well with our Hops team. It's a good time to be in Kelowna. Good time to be a hockey fan. Canucks got Kuzmenko. Hockey Hall of Fame draft announcement next week. We're giving her. This is the PP1 Podcast. I'm Ryan, my good friend Ted, screen right.